Yeah, shout out, represent. Well, until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. And you know, I'll say that again. Folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. I am Nana Ansah Kwao, the fourth chief of the Little Republic of Akwemu Edumasa, and I say thank God it's Monday. Another fine, beautiful, wonderful opportunity to perform one of radio's most important rituals. To meet up and debate, talk, chat, agree, disagree on deep topics where patrons and discerning listeners with depth gather to make truth good. And it only happens on Joy 99.7 FM. Folks, welcome to the ritual I call That's My Opinion. And our topic today, Until Death Do Us Part. Until death do us part. For richer, for poorer. In health and in sickness. Folks, Osinachi, the woman who sang that song. May she rest in peace. Very sad, very tragic death of this wonderful singer. Her death obviously triggered the conversation, the concern of abuse in marriages. And yes, men do get abused in marriages too, but physical abuse leading to death, men become more culpable. Till death do us part. The good friend today says, Nana, they don't tell you which aspect of death. Is it the death of the love in the relationship, the death of the likeness in the relationship? Which aspect of the death shall we do part? Folks, I am not sure you will agree with my opinion today. I am not sure you would agree with my position. But you know what? That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the show, because it's my opinion. Why is divorce so rampant and abuse so common? It is as though we are the ones inventing this idea of marriage into a triad. How is it that it survived better, 100 years ago, it survived better than it is today? There are those who say, well, no, they went through the same abuse, but there were no social media, so nobody talked about it. It has never changed. It's the same. However, if you go to any registry today, it tells you that the number of people filing for divorce have gone up. Some argue that, well, the women have now gotten empowered and therefore they are working out easier. How about the men beating the women? Have they also now discovered their muscles and so they are beating them more now than before? I don't know. Folks, we have more counselors today. We have more scholars today. More Christians, Muslims. We are wealthier, a bit more comfortable. We are probably more exposed. So why are women being beaten up in marriage? Why are women being beaten up in marriage? Why is the institution failing? Whether social media, whatever your argument is, the institution is failing. And it is as though just a man and woman will live on their own and it's their own business, but for the nation to hold, the man and the woman who should hold and bring forth disciplined children who in turn grow and develop the nation. If the man and the woman break down and the children break down, the nation breaks down. So it is a matter for concern. You don't just think, oh, no, the nation, the state should make sure that the unions in that state survive, for better or for worse, until death do us part. Folks, most women today will not be fulfilled until they recite these words. Sometimes, folks, the pastor or the church will literally write them for you just to repeat it. Yes, you turn up at church and the pastor or the church has, sometimes they don't even give it to you. I mean, he is reading it and then you just repeat after me. I mean, how do you make such strong vows based on what someone has written? How can you make such strong vows based on what someone has written? Now, there's a story in the Bible where this guy is going to war as a king, right? And promises that when I come back, if I'm victorious and I come back, the first thing I see, I'll sacrifice for you. And he comes back and his daughter is standing there. Opinim ochnasem. Opinim ochnasem. Yes, when I come back, whatever is there, I will sacrifice. When I'm victorious, I'll sacrifice it for you. You're making vows based on what somebody has written. And even if you wrote them, do you know what will happen tomorrow, the next minute, the next 10 minutes? Why is it that all of a sudden we have become, so brave and bold and, swear and bring so much jinx and curse on ourselves? Why? But as usual, folks, this is my opinion. And we always have to learn a thing or two. This whole white wedding shenanigan is a Great Britain tradition, which became more popular in the Victorian era, where the elite wore whites and lace to get married and after that hold a reception to host their guests. That's it. It's a Great Britain's culture. That is all it is. And ironically, what we term as engagement and look down on it, that is rather the biblical marriage. You find a woman, you can understand each other. You ask your parents or your guardians to go and see this woman's father for her hand in marriage. You pay a dowry, and both of you go into the world to start life. That's how Abraham did it. Biblical and the Bible. There was nowhere in the Bible where somebody got married, sat on a horse, there's nothing like that. It's a great British culture, and we have held on to it. And you know something? It has, it's nothing to do with Christianity, and it's the culture of the English elite, and it hasn't got clauses, or should I say, it has not got enough clauses in it to value and protect our women. It wasn't designed for us. So there's not enough clauses in it. So in that one, you can meet up at KFC, say, I'll marry you, you marry me, do everything, and go and tell your parents, I got engaged, I got married. Probably come next week for dinner, yewi. There is not enough clauses to value and protect our women. Folks, the white wedding automatically changes the identity of the woman. You can't come into the marriage with your identity. You must drop your father's name. Come and take my father's name. You must wear a ring on your finger. Folks, sometimes even before the marriage starts, the huge debt are left on the couple. And the whole fuss and the energy and the fuss and the tension and pressure, it is as though the ceremony itself is the marriage. Sewing and stitching up and painting faces and the fuss, it is as though that in itself is the marriage. Ceremony takes over everything. Folks, it is not foolishness the way our marriages was set up for us. It is not heathenism. It is not archaic. It is not old-fashioned. The way it is, our marriage was set for us. There are no ideal situations. No matter how you marry, you will get one or two that would break down. There will by all means be bad marks. But check this out. Our marriages were set up with witnesses upon witnesses upon witnesses upon witnesses. So that if Abeku found a woman and came to me and said, Ansah, I want you to go and ask for this woman's hand in marriage for me. And I go. I'll bring my Ochiame, bring my Queen Mother, bring a few heavyweights, go to this woman's house, sell that, look, Abeku is a gentle soul, nice guy, and therefore, if you can let us have your daughter, we shall give your daughter to my son to go and get married. Do you think if anything happens, Abeku can look at me and the delegation that I took to that house to misbehave, as in physical abuse? It limits it. It reduces it. So he comes, if there's anything wrong and he thinks he cannot stand the heat in the kitchen, he'll come running to me and say, Wafa, Nana, the woman that you brought to the house, this is the challenge I'm going through. And we sit and go through it. Under no circumstance can Abeku look at me, bound a woman, tie a woman, kick the woman, bash his head on the... Jesus Christ, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And if we're going further back and further back and further back, the woman will come into the marriage with her own name, her own identity, her own career, profession, or come to help. Abeku, not come to sit in the house. No, that's not the Ghanaian woman. Either say ordinidra eba anadra oyeno or babebwa. But men being men, when we got introduced to the European lifestyle and we realized that they did not value the woman as such, the women did not have that much say, immediately we also caught to it and said, no, so when we had Imrewatia running families, holding families together and everything, in Europe the women could not even vote. They could not even cast their vote. Whereas we had the number one voter as a woman. So as we went to school and gradually the indoctrination started, we decided, no, stay at home, your housewife, your housewife, your housewife. And it starts gradual and gradual and gradual and gradual. And we get here and now we are all stifling. But it has been all laid down for us. I keep telling him, who's the Ghanaian woman? I say, no, she's not the domesticated type. She's going to iron your set and hang it in a wardrobe and cook and clean. No. She'll do that. But she's got her own career, trade that she's doing. And for Ghana in particular, the women even have more trade than the men does. For Ghana, dear, the women have more trade. They are more into trade even than the men. So she's not going to leave her tomatoes or leave her shop or leave her cosmetics or leave her utensil shop to stay at home and iron your shirts and hang it all day. So we must now come back to the table. We come back to the table And go back to Sankofa. That as a human being, when you don't know when your last breath is going to be, you literally don't know when your last breath is going to be. And yet you stand and proclaim, I will do this, I will do that, I will do this. Why? Because Queen Victoria done it. Jesus is not, Jesus does not require you to make all these boastful vows. God is not asking you to make all these boastful vows. So where are we getting it from? That I personally think you are just jinxing yourself. Because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Oh, for better, for worse, for sickness, for tall or short, for fat or thin. Please. It is not our culture. And we are saying, and the Bible, nowhere in the Bible does it require you to do all these white things. Nowhere. Is it not? That's where I sometimes get confused. That the very Bible, the very Christ that we, follow and profess and to be like, it's not requiring us to do all these things. It's just somebody's culture. Yet it has taken precedence. And now we go all the way around and come back. And there are no checks and balances in marriages anymore. Where you move families from one tribe, from one region, from one side of the country to move a whole family to come and meet a second family. And if these two families agree that their son and their daughter should unite, folks, the marriage would happen. Now, the number one taboo, and I've said this 1,000 times, in a traditional marriage is for the man to hit the woman. And that's how come I can't go to somebody's house and say, give me your daughter to marry, and the man will just take the daughter and give to me. No. They will give the daughter to the elders who have come on my behalf, because they serve as the witness. Should anything happen, they will be called. And being black, that Enumguasi was one of the things we feared the most. No. And in back days, the repercussions were, you see, the funny thing is, like, even today in Edumasa, if there's an argument between a husband and a wife, and the husband, dares hit the woman, folks, the issue is automatically comes to the palace, and the fines and the sanctions that the man gets today. And I sit back and I realize that, they are being who they are supposed to be, because it is not part of the deal. It's a whole different saga. But today, don't talk about it. The pastor says don't talk about it. He says don't talk about it. He says don't talk about that. Folks, it has never been part of a rule. So sometimes when I hear the argument that, it has always been with us, I'm thinking, you forget it. Yes, there's always been unhappy marriages. But to say that, back in the day, any man would just get up to say, oh, please, folks. It's a foreign and a modern phenomenon. And it's getting worse. And it's getting worse because we are losing our values. And in our values, as I'm saying, it's two families who come together. And because of the fear of shame, these checks and balances were there. So it minimized it. It doesn't mean that, yes, you're going to go and have a happy family. Yeah, the abuse could come in so many forms. But to physically lay your hands on the woman, smash her head on the wall, tie her down, ban her, don't give her food. Jesus. Let us go back to being who we are. White, no. Yentina fiena mpenyin shia. Mpenyin shia. You see, so that you, the woman, when you come with a strong family And the guy coming to marry you, see your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your father, your mother's sisters, your father's, the husomotihwa. When they take you away, they value and respect you because Odim said, "Don't do what you." But if you think, "Oh, wait a minute, for this guy didn't pay my school fees," you have reduced and diminished your value. You have diminished your value. Get the family involved. Bring the sisters. Say why for bring. Why you don't? That doesn't mean you have to cook, lobsters for them. Anything small that we can eat after the union. But bring them so that the man coming to ask for your hand in marriage will see that abayoi ufidom ufiebusium. So even the man's family and the sisters and everybody will tell you, Joe, if you are Bermudia, this house, it looks as if they are on their feet. So as you're taking this woman, behave well. So yes, they will come and quote the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, the Bible. There's nothing wrong. But where in the Bible does it say you have to wear white and hire a car and in and out? Where? Which verse? Which chapter? Which chapter does it say when you get to church, make a promise? I will do this. I will go and come. You don't even know when you drop dead. So where is the modesty? Where are the witnesses standing in? And I feel we must encourage it. And maybe the church should lead it. Yes, after the ceremony, Osofu Weshiraswamamo. Osofu Weshiraswamamo. Asa. Folks, it's 0302 216 541. 0302 216 541. You can send your WhatsApp to 055 111 41997. 055 111 997. Nana Wanuham, I will say that we buy unnecessary pressure for ourselves and we make marriage look like a competition by spending so much in the name of my wedding was the most glamorous ever. Now, after all the pomp and pageantry, when the face reality of life, the abuse and the weird things, we can't run back home for our elders to advise or address the issue. So we keep on with the and die for nothing. Clarissa, Sakomono Estates. And I agree with you 200%. That's how it should be. But people have turned it upside down. TTN and so on. Good evening, Nana. We must emancipate ourselves from mental slavery and resist temptation of westernization. Shem mixing Yeboah, Bros Barbecue. says marriage is honorable, but an abusive relationship is horrible. If it happens once, it will happen again, and your dignity you will never regain. So no matter your religious belief, after one punch, please leave. Divorce can be stressful, but an untimely death is never useful. Marriage is to be enjoyed, not endured. Lord have mercy. Udute ni udute. Okay, hello, and who do I have on the phone?
Hello, good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Richard. I'm calling from Tema.
Let me hear you, my brother.
I really enjoyed your program this evening, and I'm really, really, really happy because this is a very serious issue affecting marriages in this country, and not only Ghana but Africa as a whole. I mean, we become civilized, and then our civilization has turned into disrespect to elderly people. So you find young guys who want to go into marriage and doesn't have any regard for the elderly ones, just because they also have money and can do whatever they want. So it translates into, since you are disrespectful to your elderly people, when you enter into the marriage, you also have no regard for each other. And at the end of the day, you end up doing things that are so much contrary to tradition. So I think we have a long way to go. We need to change our mindset and go back to start looking at what is wrong. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in. 0302-216-541. As I said today, I didn't think many of you would agree with me because I just don't think this, this ordination thing. If we're not careful, it's like you're cursing. You met someone today, fine, we want to get married, and then all of a sudden, kokotako, I will be here, I will do this, I will do that. Meanwhile, you don't know what would happen tomorrow. And you ask yourself, who's even asking, where does he even come from? If he in a buyer, hello, who's talking to me?
Yes, Nana.
Yes, sir.
My name is Kweku.
Kweku, let me hear you.
Okay, so it's a very interesting topic you've brought up. Honestly, there are some things I got to know after I got married, which if I knew, I wouldn't have wasted time on this church white wedding. For instance, our own traditional kind of wedding, okay, it's a valid marriage, which confers spousal rights to both parties in this country, recognized. Okay. Now, the process where you do engagement and then later you go and do the church wedding, the white wedding. Do you know what effectively happens is that you just, by doing the church wedding, you render the customary one invalid because two marriages cannot succeed at the same time.
I've never even thought of it that way, no.
Yes, that's the legal part. That's what I'm saying, that if I knew, because I got married before I went to law school, and I got to understand all of the things. The one that we do as engagement, the traditional one that is accepted by our custom, it is also a proper marriage. It is not a prerequisite for a church wedding.
Exactly.
So you actually convert your marriage from that customary one, which is potentially polygamous, into a monogamous marriage, adopting. So I hear people come and say, "Oh, I want a divorce, but I have not done the house one. I'm not going to go away and okay. So do you think I can continue?" And my answer is that the minute you convert the marriage, the minute you do the church wedding, which is another type of marriage recognized by our law, you just converted from one to the other. So you don't even need to go and do the JDM before you go to court for dissolution of your marriage.
I see.
And the interesting thing, our customary one, which is the right kind of wedding for us, is potentially polygamous, it doesn't require anybody to take anybody's name. It doesn't, but it gives the same spousal right to parties. So if I knew then, I would have just started my customary marriage. It is not by fluke that it was some kind of marriage that we do. So all these church wedding things just brings a whole lot of stress on the young guys. And trust me, a lot of young guys are scared to get married now because of the cost, the kind of weddings they've been to. They've seen the money, and they see themselves as they don't have that much to even go into it in the first place, which is very, very bad because if it's a traditional marriage, it's not even going to cost that much. So yes, my point is that we should, like the previous caller, let's revert to what our forefathers used to do. Let's revert to that, and we'll get all the respect as we need as men in the marriage, women in the marriage, the kind of respect. Because in the past, that's the kind of marriage, but you never see divorces by act like that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was an education. 0302216541. Hello, who's talking to me?
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening.
I'm Nana Fisi.
Nana, let me hear you.
I hope everyone is fine. I'm cooking, sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, so the thing is, you see, when you talk about the Bible, just like you said, you become an enemy. But see, the Bible says a lot of things that I've realized we only use the part that favors us and leave the rest. You understand? See, the Bible is the same Bible that says for better, for worse. The same Bible that says, it's that same Bible that says, can two walk together unless they agree? It's that same Bible that says that do unto others what you want others to do unto you. You understand? I was confronted with an issue like this, and I just made it clear that divorce is an option. And they came for me, and I didn't get why. You want to stay. If you die, one day you'll be hit. And when you die, what good would be of that? So, it's a necessary evil, and I'm just happy we are talking about it. It's all good. They can be angry or not, but it is what it is. If you stay and die because of marriage, that one is your own problem. If you also live and have a better life, keep your sanity, that one too. Whichever way that works for you, go with it. Good evening.
I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for calling, but invite me to dinner since you're cooking.
All right.
Thank you. But the wedding vows are not biblical. They are not in the Bible anyway, so you just make them as you go. Hello, who's talking to me?
Hi, Nana.
Yes, sir.
This is Kofi. I'm calling from Laboni.
Kofi, let me hear you.
I'm just going to make a very brief one. When you look at the definition of wedding, wedding is entertainment after a proper, or I'm adding my own, but after marriage. So wedding itself is just bringing people around to eat, to party and all that. It's not marriage. The marriage is what you do at the court or our traditional marriage. For some reason, we have sidelined our, you have enumerated here. We've sidelined our own traditions and marriage. But our marriage is very authentic and legitimate. The wedding is just a party. All right? So let's get that clear. What we do, wear dress, and all, is just bringing people together. It is not the marriage. The marriage is signing the document that you and I are together, or the one you do with your family. But we have, for some reason, sidelined our own, and now accepting the one that we signed, and we go and do all those parties are unnecessary. The real thing is, I'm married to you by ordinance, either in a court or whatever means that is necessary. We don't need all that party honeymoon. It's good to take your wife, and you can do that privately. You don't need that, bringing 10 women, girls, boys, together on a line and all that interact. If you have the money, you want to do it. But in West Africa and in Ghana and in our economy, okay, it is not necessary. But just like any other thing that we do in this country, it is through what we learn from what people have been doing before. So what we are seeing is historical of what we have learned from what you did or what I did, or that is what they are doing. But honestly, it is not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stone from Koforidia says, good evening, Nana. From where I said, I can comfortably say that this abusive culture is being abated and emboldened by some church elders who view separation or even divorce as a taboo, even if human life is involved. Eyasemo. And on the phone, who's talking to me?
Good evening, Nana.
Good evening. I was waiting for my first female caller.
Nana, please, this is Ruth here.
Who? Ruth?
Ruth here.
Oh,
Calling
Ruth.
from
Oh,
Harcher.
okay. Yeah, let me hear you.
Okay. So, Nana, I think one major problem is when it comes to the church wedding, for instance, people are not really ready for the vows made. Now, just as you said, the vows are not even biblical. So they stand there, it's recited for better, for worse, and then they say it. It is not something they are really prepared for. So I'm just saying it for the sake of saying it, but in actual sense, I don't mean it. That is another problem. Aside that, most often than not, I don't know whether because the youth are not getting the education required from the elders. And so now parents are all just forcing their kids to get married. You are going, get married. And so we settle in for anything at all without being so mindful of who we are settling with. So that is another problem we need to look at. Being married is a personal decision that individuals have to make. No one should be pressured. Thank you, Nana.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, who's talking to me?
Yeah, I'm called Raymond.
Raymond, let me hear you.
Yeah, the topic today is a very good one, and it's only the wise who can understand. I would say most of the problem is coming from the parents of the lady. They want their will be future son-in-law to be that can be seen in society. So at the end of the day, those guys portray themselves to be there. And when they get into the marriage, there are a lot of pressure that comes. And those pressure sometimes can be frustrating. That leads to those abuse in the marriage. I'll give you my personal example. But I was lucky the other way around. I got married to a lady who was dating a very rich man at that time that the mother loved so much because the man was having money. And the man was not ready for marriage. So when the lady said she is ready for marriage, and I happened to come into the picture, the mother did not like me. It was tug of war. But the lady says, look, I want marriage. I prefer marriage than wealth. And for 15 years now, we've been together as husband and wife. So most of these things, I blame the parents, some parents in a way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. 0302216541 for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. And you are my heart and the apple in my eye and the sunshine in my universe and this and that and this. And I'm saying that sometimes you haven't even written it. Ubi na atrama okeke. Osofo na no akota and watch on idea. Into oba. Yeah, Nana, repeat after me. Yes, Gifty, you two repeat after me. Vows. O cantam. O babe cantam. Ubi na atrama. Hello.
Yeah, my brother, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, this Sammy from Koforidia.
Sammy, let me hear you.
Yeah, you haven't told us the divorce cases at the registry. Whether the women who are seeking divorce or the men who are seeking divorce, which one is more? And secondly, too, you haven't told us the relief. If it was a woman, the relief they are seeking. You know, there's a court judgment that if a woman doesn't even contribute to the upkeep of the house or to the property.
Okay, I'm just talking about abuse in marriages and marriage breakdown. I'm not talking about statistics about who initiated the breakdown or not. I'm just talking about abuse in marriage. And I'm saying that as we are changing our culture, the abuse is also growing because the new culture hasn't got enough clauses and protection in it. When you leave, you see, in our marriages, it is the two families who come together and decide that this marriage will happen. So the couple who go to marry hold all these family members in high esteem. And so, yes, by all means, there will be bends in the road. And when there's a bend in the road, everyone is a bit more measured in how they deal with the bend. But when there's nobody, one or the who are busy you act anyhow you act. You act anyhow you act. I mean, assuming this guy who was doing this nasty thing had a very prominent person who went with him to go and seek for this woman's hand in marriage. Obeferi say papa ninti mean to me nyasa. That's why I use myself and my son. Abeku says, "Oh, be family the milk or baby fee waria." You can't come and treat the woman. Are you mad? I go and ask for a woman's hand in marriage for you, and then you tie the woman and slap her, bang her head. Papa. So you see that's the checks and balances for the woman. It's a big I've got me sabana. And papa be and I will go and do, twice as much to him. You're going to embarrass me because next time I go to another woman's house to go and ask her, papa we or you bakwa, you go, that's how our system worked. You go to the next house and they'll kick you out. Say, if you are now, breed your brother. Folks, in the meantime, I'm inviting you all to the Little Republic of Edumasa. Well, Easter Monday, we're going to have the biggest Kokunte party ever Ghana saw. Easter Monday, we are having the biggest Kokunte party ever. The cow is already strung. We need to give it a name. I don't know. We need to find a nice name for this cow. So everybody's invited. You come, you just buy your asanka, go and get whichever soup you want with your kokonte. A bit of live band. Just eat and break bread and make merry. So you should all come to the Little Republic of Edumasa. Those of you who are curious, this is your time. So from Good Friday, the 15th of April, Saturday, 16th April, the usual homecoming, then Saturday, the health walk, aerobics. Then there's a distribution of sanitary pads and adolescent health talk. Then fundraising towards our wonderful, wonderful community center. Then there's a wicked raffle that you don't want to miss out. Sunday, Easter Sunday becomes Akwesidai, which is a very unique day. Akwesidai on Easter Sunday. But on Monday, it's all going down at the Little Republic Kokote Party. The wonderful Mamiesi is here. Kofi Ford is ready. Abeku Sankofi was on the ones and twos. And I, Ansah, Kwao, I am over and out.